Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Courtroom Files Live. We will start our day with Judge Simpson. He's working through his criminal docket.
And I would like
in this case.
right.
Oh.
And I would like to explain that to him. He is being held in Macomb County on I think a $50,000 bond. An exam is scheduled for I want to say June 6th, but I'm not sure if that's correct. In the next couple of weeks. So I asked for an adjournment of the sentencing. I apologize to Mr. Haslam. I'm working on trying to get out there. Or I might have to go there, but their online system is giving me some issues.
All right. Mr. Haslam?
Yes.
You've got another case here. Another misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about November 25th, 2024, location in Pittsfield Township on Carpenter Road, that you did operate a motor vehicle while your license was suspended, denied, and or revoked. Do you understand the nature of that charge, sir?
Yes.
Okay. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a $500 fine plus court cost, 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court cost. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right. First question I have for you is, do you wish to be represented by an attorney?
Yes.
All right. This is a public defender case.
Do
You need the case number on that?
No, that's okay.
All right.
We'd waive formal reading and stand mute to the charges.
All right. Defendant having waived formal reading, standing mute, court will enter a not guilty plea in this matter. Casey.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will set his bond at a 1,010% bond, so he gets credit. That was his warrant amount. Now, what's my next sentencing day?
May 28th at 12 p.m.
Do you think, Ms. Perrine, you'll get whatever needs to be solved by May 28th?
I think so. If I can't get the online system, I think I can request an in-person and go out to Macomb.
All right. And I don't want to bring him back twice on this pre-trial, so let's do this. I'll set your pre-trial, Mr. Haslam, on the one that I just arraigned you on, that case. I'll set that for a pre-trial. Well, problem's going to be I won't have Siller here on the 28th.
It's a trial docket in morning, but yeah.
The sentencing would be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Give me my next. Let's do it this way, because this other one is give me my next pre-trial date, and I'll just set the sentencing at a special time.
Okay, so pre-trial would be June 4th.
All right. I'll set the pre-trial in your other matter for June 4th, 2025 at 9. Okay. And then I'll set your sentencing on this case also for that June 4th, 2025 at 9. That'd be a special time for a sentencing, but that way you don't have to come back twice. All right. All right. Thank you. Court does call the case of People versus Jenny Glue.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perrine on behalf of Ms. Liu. Ms. Liu, please state your name for the record.
Oh, she's unmuted, I think now.
Jenny Lou.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, today's the date and time set for sentencing. We have reviewed the pre-sentence report and don't have any material changes, additions, or deletions. We do ask that you adopt probation's recommendation. Ms. Liu has been incarcerated at the Huron Valley Prison for many years now. So I think a credit for time served sentence is appropriate.
All right. Ms. Lou, anything you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
No, sir.
All right. On the count one assault and battery, $125 statutory fees, 93 days in jail, credit 93 served. On count two, the assault and battery, $50 statutory fees, 93 days in jail, credit 93 served. All right. Thank you, Ms. Lou. Good luck to you.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
Court calls case People versus Logan Cyrus.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. Cyrus. Mr. Cyrus, please state your name for the record.
Logan Cyrus.
Your Honor, we have reviewed the pre-sentence report and don't have any changes. We also reviewed the recommendation and asked that this court adopt it. He did do the maximum time on this charge.
All right. And he's still in.
He is, when I asked if he knew when he was going to be released, he doesn't know at this point.
Okay.
So I don't know when he's going to be able to pay the restitution.
Got it. Sir, anything you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sentence of the court, $125 statutory fees, $540.14 restitution to Meyer payable through the court. That will be due 90 days after his release. I'll order 93 days of jail, credit 93 served. Thank you.
Thanks.
Court calls case People versus Elijah Kyler.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Elijah Kyler, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please state your name for the court?
Elijah Kyler.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here for an amended sentencing. We have had the opportunity to review the PSIR. Of course, still no corrections to that. As to the amended recommendation for the restitution, we would ask the court to adopt it. My client does understand that. And we are asking if the court would make that amount of restitution payable 6 months after his release. His max out date is September of this year.
Got it. Okay. Sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sentence of the court, $125 statutory fees, $300 restitution to Andover Police Department payable through the court. That will be due 90 days after release. And I'll order 180 days in jail, credit 180 days served. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Kyler.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Kyler.
All right, thank you.
Court does call the case, People versus Yolanda Woods. That's all my in custody.
Yes.
Hello.
Her attorney, Mr. Davis, is also.
All right.
Yes, good. Good morning, Your Honor. Bruce Davis, P 76203, appearing with Yolanda Woods, who's present via Zoom.
So Woods, could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Yolanda Woods.
All right. Go ahead. This date and time set for sentencing, counsel.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I had a chance to review the pre-sentence report. No corrections, deletions, or additions. And the recommendation is in line with what the prosecutor and I discussed. I think the deferral program is good for her. She doesn't have any prior criminal history, no thefts or anything like that. She's 54. She's working. She's working for Eastern Michigan in a clerical position. I asked the court to adopt the recommendation as is.
Ma'am, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No.
All right. Sentence of the court, place you on 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $480 fines and cost, $125 probation oversight fees. When can you get that paid, ma'am?
I can pay half today and half on the 13th of next month.
Okay, so $300 today.
Yes.
All right. And then the balance, you said you could pay it by the 13th, so I'll make it the balance by June 16th,
Okay, thank you.
2025. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal drug. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 60 days. You're to complete 25 hours of community service as directed by probation. No going to any Walmart store in the state of Michigan. I will set a review hearing September 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'll order 90 days in jail that is suspended. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Court calls the case, People versus Jonathan Weber.
Judge John Shea appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Weber for sentencing.
Go ahead.
Judge, Mr. Weber's before you on his first offense. He's 63 years old. The BAC was not low, but not hugely high either. It was 0.156. It was a very minor accident. And by that, I mean, it was a very slow speed rear end. And it's a matter of him being drunk and not adequately giving himself enough room to stop at a red light. Very little damage, both cars drivable, that kind of thing. He was completely honest with the police. When they asked him if he had been drinking, he said yes. When they asked how much, he told them. When they said when, he told them. So there was no screwing around. He's been responsible since this case. He's sober. He's enrolled in an IOP, complete it next week. He's had negative tests through community corrections. He's had negative tests in the IOP program itself. They ETG him every week. He's prepared to pay his fines and costs today. He's reported this to the bar. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. And he looks great and he feels great. So in a sense, I'll let him tell you this himself, but in a sense, this has been unfortunate that it happens in this way, but he's happy to be sober. I'd ask the court follow the recommendation. I think it's fair.
Mr. Weber, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Yes, Your Honor. I am very sorry that this happened. It has been something I've been very careful about in the past, and I blew it. The only positive thing is being in the IOP, those people are really good, and I don't think I'm ever going to drink again. I think 40 years of drinking is enough, and I have every intention of never drinking again. And thank you for your patience.
Sometimes it's all I have, right? All right. All right. And Mr. Weber, as I indicated, I do know of you, and sometimes bad things happen sometimes for a good reason, right?
That's exactly what I said to my sister.
Pardon?
Right after the accident, after I spent the night in jail, I called my sister. I said, I was in an accident last night. It might be the best thing that ever happened.
Okay. And the other thing I was going to point out is that also being aware of you, there's a lot of good things that you've done throughout your life and career. And certainly this, I think the important thing to note is that doesn't erase any of that, right?
Thank you.
All right. The court does acknowledge that this is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute. However, it does believe that there are reasonable grounds to depart from the presumption of a non-probationary sentence. Specifically, the alcohol assessment, screening and assessment identifies the benefit of an IOP program as well as random testing. Therefore, I will follow probation's recommendation of a probationary sentence with the stated rehabilitative goals to promote change, prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. It's therefore the sentence of the court that I would place you on 12-month probationary term. You're to pay $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $360 probation oversight fees. That is going to be paid today. Is that correct? All right. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete your IOP treatment program at U of M with status reports to probation. You're to attend one AA meeting per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of the victim's impact panel attendance to probation. I'll continue the sober link for an additional 30 days in lieu of 4 days in jail. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit 1, the balance is suspended.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
See you soon.
All right, good morning again, everybody. Welcome to the Courtroom Files Live. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are all well today. Kazman, good morning. You just popped in. Good to see you. So yesterday we tried to go to Florida, and we ended up in a court that was really just procedural. But let's try it again. This time it's going to be Wade Mercer. This is Jackson County, and he is doing first appearances. So let's give that a try.
Standing, she's going to pay a $400 fine within 60 days, or she'll serve 10 days in the county jail. She has waived her right to a jury trial and call witnesses. Mr. Mitchell, is that agreeable with the state?
It is, Your Honor.
And Ms. Castillo, Mr. McDaniel, does she understand the normal process we have for individuals who don't appear to have social security numbers? As far as not being able to do it till noon? Yeah, I told her that, yeah. Okay. So Ms. Castillo, if you enter this plea, you need to understand, let me ask the corporal first. Corporal Jones, have you heard from the Immigration Service on this case?
Not this morning. They did respond yesterday and they would reach out by phone, but they have not yet.
Okay, so Ms. Castillo, in these kind of cases, what we do in some counties, what we do is we require the individuals to be held until noon. And the reason for that is I don't want to hold you another 24 hours. I don't know that that's appropriate, but at the same time, I have to give Immigration Service some opportunity to determine if they want to place the detainer on you or not. I have no idea if they will, if they have the reason to do. I have no idea. All I know is you don't have a social security number based on the information that I've been provided. So that's what we do in every one of those cases. What that means, ma'am, is effective as of noon today. If there's no detainer from the United States Immigration Service, you'll be released at noon today, and then you have the 60 days to pay. If immigration does place a detainer on you, we've got to honor that. And what that means is we'll see you again at first appearance unless they pick you up today. But you're going to be released on this case regardless at noon today, whether you'll be in immigration custody or whether you'll be released to your friends or family. I can't tell you because I don't know. Ms. Castillo, do you have any questions?
Yes.
And knowing all of that, is this the plea you would like to enter? The plea that your attorney put on the record, is that the plea you would like to enter, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Castillo, I'm going to accept your plea of no contest to the charge of driving with no valid driver's license, withhold adjudication of guilt, ma'am. Sentence you to 10 days in jail. You will never serve that 10 days as long as you pay the court costs and fines, Ms. Castillo. You have 60 days to pay those. It's actually a little more than 60 days, depending on how the calendar works out. The due date is July 14th. If you get it paid by July 14th, this case is over. Ms. Castillo, if you don't get it paid for any reason, you need to be back in court July 15th to ask for an extension, and that $400 can be, you can be released at noon today.
Yes,
You
sir.
can be released at noon today, ma'am. If there's any other detainers from anywhere, we have to honor those and see where we stand on those. So, Ms. Colvin, I would suggest someone be at the jail at noon. You may want to call ahead of time. You can't, hopefully there's not going to be a detainer. There's no way we can know that. I would be there at noon. I would go ahead and pay at the clerk's office downstairs. Which is, okay, still going to have it. So she's still going to have it paid. And I don't think, even if immigration places a hold on her, I don't expect them to hold her for very long. It might give the amount of time she's been here and that she has no other criminal history at all. Correct. I mean, so Mr. McDaniel's hope is that if they place a detain on her when they get her to the immigration facility and get a little more background information, that they won't detain her, they won't hold her over there. She may get a bond there, she may just get released. I have no idea. But as of right now, they haven't placed a detain on her. And we're not going to continue to hold her indefinitely for this particular charge. So if you want to pay it downstairs, we'll give you this disposition. You can pay it today if you wish downstairs. That the criminal case will be over. What will happen then depends on at 12 o'clock noon today, Central Time. Is there a detainer hold from the United States Immigration Service? If there's not, she's released to you or whoever's there. If there is, we've got to honor it. Any questions? Ms. Castillo, any questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Have a good day, ma'am. Thank you for coming, Ms. Colvin. We have friends or family here on Fuquan Griffin. Mr. Griffin, good morning. Mr. Griffin, you've got a couple of family members here. You're here being brought back in 24-500 MM. I think the attorneys have been working on this case. It was a violation of probation based upon 4 or 5 things, but the primary allegation was a new felony charge. So, Mr. McDaniel, Mr. Mitchell, who wants to be heard on this one?
Your Honor, we have an agreement in place. He's going to admit that he violated his probation. You understand he's going to be sentenced to 60 days in the county jail. On that, I guess. Where's?
Oh, I guess she went outside on that last case.
41 days jail credit. The state's agreement to dismiss the felony case in 25169 CF. And he can be released from the remainder of the jail sentence by paying the sum of $770. Once he's made that payment, he can be released.
Mr. Mitchell.
That is an agreement with the state, and his felony case was a no info was filed this morning.
So essentially it's a 60-day jail sentence, but he has a purge because he's already done a substantial portion of it, and because the felony case has been dismissed, and the purge is the amount he owed before, which is $770.
Yes.
Mr. Griffin, did you hear that agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Griffin, any questions about that agreement?
No, sir.
And is that the admission you would like to enter, Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Griffin, I'm going to accept your admission that you violated the terms and conditions of your supervision in case 24-500 MM. Revoke that supervision, sentence you to 60 days in Jackson County Jail. But based upon the circumstances that are already on the record, I'm going to set a purge amount on that remaining portion of that sentence. That purge amount is $770. So what that means is if you're able to pay the purge amount that he owed originally, he'll be released immediately and it's over. If he's not able to, he'd finish the 60-day sentence and then he'd be released. But the felony case has been dismissed. Is that right?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
And for the record, that case is 25169 CF. It has been dismissed this morning.
Does family have any questions? Any questions from the family?
How long, on the 700, so how long?
Well, how much credit does he have?
41 days.
So he's done 41 days, and Corporal, it needs to be, he's not entitled to gain time under Florida law until he pleads. And I sent that law to the chief, and he was doing some research, and I never heard back. So y'all need to calculate that by hand. His gain time starts today, not when he pled under the research that was done. So what that means, ladies, is he has 19 days left at most. So the answer to your question is, if you don't pay it, he'll do 19 days minus some gain time, hopefully, between now and then. So he may do as little as, 17, 18 days. I really don't know, somewhere around there. If you're able to pay it and you pay it 3 days from now, he'll be out then. If you pay it 5 days from now, he'll be out then. So you don't have to pay it, but if you do pay it, he would get out a little bit earlier. Does that answer your question? Now, if you pay today, he's out today. If you're able to pay it today, and the $770 is what he was ordered to pay originally. That it's not, we haven't added anything to it. That's what he was ordered to pay on his probation originally. So $400 of it was restitution, and the rest was standard court costs and fines. Any other questions? Mr. Griffin, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay. You too. No problem.
Mr. Middleton, I just noticed you on my screen. Mr. Middleton, do you have a case this morning? That if you do, we'll go ahead and call it, sir. Maybe he's gone. Mr. Middleton was up there. Attorney Adrian Middleton was on my screen for a moment, but I don't see him now. So the next case I have that has friends or family here is Marty Rowell. Mr. Rowell, good morning. Mr. Rowell, you're here because you've been accused of one count of driving with license suspended with knowledge. Mr. Rowell, I believe there's been some developments on your case this morning. You do have some family here, your dad, family members here this morning. So Mr. McDaniel and Mr. Mitchell have been looking at some documentation you had. So Mr. Mitchell, where do we stand in this case?
Your Honor, based on the documentation that was provided to me and the defense, it looks like he did end up purchasing and provided valid proof of insurance. I believe it was authorization fee or something that wasn't paid?
Reinstatement fee.
The reinstatement fee. Yes.
But that only has to be paid if the suspension takes effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was reinstated before the suspension even took effect. Is that right?
Mr. McDaniel?
He purchased the insurance, I think, on the 6th, and it went into effect the 7th. The suspension was effective the 7th. It was the same day, and but he had purchased it the day before, I think, and so it was done beforehand. But I don't think DMV would have got that information in time to know about it.
Okay, so Mr. Mitchell, what's the state's position on bond or release status while we're figuring all this out?
Your Honor, we don't mind giving him some kind of, I don't know if he would, yeah, I was about to say ROR would probably be, because I don't think he would be a conditional release candidate on that, but we would request an ROR, and we believe that this case should resolve itself.
He's already on probation, so I don't see why putting him on conditional release really adds anything. So, Mr. Rival, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give you an ROR on your own recognizance in this case, and the reason is it looks like you fixed the problem immediately before the suspension was supposed to take effect, but depending upon what time of day or night you did that, DHS&V was not noticed. They did not receive notice. It should come from your insurance company, but that looks like it may not have happened in your case. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a release on this case, and we're not going to file a violation of probation at this time based upon the circumstances. So we're going to see what happens with it. You need to get out. You need to get a copy of that documentation on your insurance to Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, to the driver's license office. And because it appears they've not been notified that you fixed the problem, and it looks like you fixed the problem before the suspension took effect. Here's why that's important. If you fix the problem after the suspension took effect, you have to pay a reinstatement fee. If you fix the problem before the suspension took effect, you may not have to pay a reinstatement fee. So that's what you need to do. But we're going to give you a release on this case and set you for another court date just as a tracking mechanism to see if they on top of things. Mr. Goodson.
So an affidavit was filed this morning with the court, and a warrant was signed by you. So at this point, I guess we'll do an order rescinding the warrant.
It hadn't even been processed, has it? There's no need to rescind.
It's turned into y'all, so we'll just pull it back. Okay.
Yeah. So we're not even going to process that warrant I signed this morning. That was before we knew that the documentation that your family provided on the insurance. So you're still on probation. You still got to do everything you're supposed to do on probation, report in like you're supposed to do. You're going to be released from jail this morning. As far as a tracking date, Mr. McDaniel, what do you want to do?
We put him on the next pretrial date. And Mr. Rao, if you go and get your license fixed today, you won't have to be at that pretrial date or that arraignment date on June 2nd. But go get your license fixed and come out of the office and give us a copy of it.
Okay. The court date the court date is really a tracking mechanism. I'm talking to your family. So what that means is if he gets it all straightened out, Mr. Mitchell's already said he's going to be dismissing the case because it looks like he fixed the problem before the suspension took effect. It's just no one notified DHS&V. And then they will tell you one of two things. Either he's got to pay a reinstatement fee or he doesn't, depending upon their interpretation of that. Okay. So Mr. Rowell, you're going to be released this morning. Any questions?
No, sir.
The family have any questions? All right. Have a good day. Wish you the best, Mr. Rowell.
Okay. Thank you.
Are you here for a first appearance case? They're for a pretrial? Okay. So back to the first appearance list. The next case is Daniel Noto.
So I'm going to stick with Judge Mercer here. This is Judge Wade Mercer, Jackson County. I'm going to stick with him for at least one more case. But let me know what you think in the chat. This is the first time we've visited this judge, so I'd like to know what you think of him. I like the fact that he seems to be involving family when they're there and communicating what needs to happen. I think that can only be helpful for the defendant to help him wade through what needs to be done. Haha, I said Wade. His name is Wade. Anyways, back to him.
We've got a bond on the Walton County case. I'm going to set your bond in Jackson County, but before I do so, let me see if the attorneys have any additional information. Mr. Mitchell or Mr. McDaniel? Let's start with Mr. McDaniel. Anything?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Mitchell?
Your Honor, we just request he have no contact with Walmart.
Mr. Noto, I'm going to set your bond amount of $10,000 each. All of these are third-degree felonies. That's the normal bond I set for someone who is on probation and has new charges. So your bond on these 8 third-degree felonies is $80,000 cash or surety. It does have a condition of no contact with Walmart. So you have the right to post the bond. If you do, you'll be released to Walton County. If you're not able to post the bond, then what will happen, Mr. Noto, is you'll deal with your charges here first, and then you'll deal with Walton County later. Any questions, sir?
How long is it if I didn't post the bond?
How long? I couldn't understand your question. How long is what now?
He said, if I didn't post the bond,
Mr. Noda,
then I
I
have
already
to.
explained that to you. They'll have 30 days to file an information on you. If it's not filed, within 30 days after that, there'll be an arraignment date.
All right.
So the state has several weeks to actually formally charge you.
And information's been filed.
And information's already been filed?
Yes.
Okay, so the information's already been filed. That's what prompted the warrant. So what that means is you will automatically go on the next arraignment docket, which is June the, Don?
3rd, I think.
We believe it's June the 3rd will be your arraignment date,
Let's see if I'm right.
June the 3rd. So if you post bond, you'll go to Walton County. If you don't post bond, you'll be in front of Judge Garcia on June 3rd. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Robert Spettle. Mr. Spettle, good morning. Mr. Spettle, you're here for an out-of-county warrant out of Santa Rosa County in case 2015-1333 DR. Mr. Spettle, this warrant has a $500 purge, but it also says plus sheriff's fee. So it's impossible for me to tell you exactly what the purge amount is. It's going to be somewhere north of $500. I'm going to ask the sheriff's department, I'm going to ask the jail to notify Santa Rosa County and get a specific number for you. You have the right to post that purge, and if you do, you'll be released. If you're not able to, you'll go to that county and you'll deal with these accusations against you in child support court over there. But it's $500 plus what the sheriff's fee, but the warrant doesn't say how much that is. Any questions, sir? Have a good day. We have Daryl Buggs. Mr. Buggs, good morning. Mr. Buggs, you're here originally for a fugitive warrant out of Houston County, Alabama. A warrant they say they want you on, Mr. Buggs. The clerk's office this morning discovered 4 old warrants from Jackson County that you were sentenced on. These are old issuing worthless checks. It's the same name, same date of birth, Mr. Buggs. And these warrants, do you have those warrants? These warrants are from 2006. 4 different are issuing worthless checks in 2006. And in each case, all of them are essentially the same. It looks like you appeared before Judge Hatcher back then. According to the court file, he sentenced you to 90 days in jail, but the jail sentence would only apply if you did not pay some restitution and some total check fees. It looks like the total you were ordered to pay back then was $530.95. Somehow during the booking process yesterday, it appears someone missed those old warrants. So I'm making you aware of them. I'm going to ask Sergeant Applewhite to notify the Sheriff's Department that they need to be served. So hopefully someone will be out there today and serve you with those. So what that means is you've got to deal with these charges before you can deal with the Houston County charge, because you've already been sentenced on these cases. So when you get a copy of the warrant served, you'll get a copy of the information, the case number, and so forth. But I have got a copy of I've got a copy of the disposition in front of me. I know this is the first time you're hearing about this. I did look at the checks to see. I'll try to answer your question in just a second. I did look at the checks because I wanted to see where they were written to. 3 of them were written to Malone IGA. 1 of them was written to McDaniels IGA and Sneed's. Those are the checks that it appears you've already pled to and been sentenced on. So you'll get copies of those today. Right now, there's not a purge amount on the sentences. Okay, so listen to Mr. McDaniel. I think he's going to ask that a purge amount be added, and then I'll answer the questions you have in just a second. Mr. McDaniel.
So, Mr. Buggs, you've already been sentenced to this to 90 days jail, and I'm going to ask the court to modify that sentence to allow you to purge out of jail, be released from jail by paying the sum of what the checks are. That's $530.95. Once that payment's made, you can be released on that 90-day sentence on these worthless checks. And we'd ask the court to amend that.
Mr. Mitchell, any objection to that?
What was that total purge amount again?
$530.95.
95 cents. No objection.
So, Mr. Buggs, Mr. McDaniel wants you, if you wish to and have the ability to, he wants you to at least have the option of paying that purge amount and being released on these sentences, not serving the 90 days, because that appears what Judge Hatcher was trying to do way back then, was just collect restitution for these businesses. So, Mr. Buggs, you understand with the motion he's making?
If back then, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they gave me 6 months probation on that after I left out of the courts, and I did the probation on that.
According to the court file, that's not what happened. Judge Hatcher sentenced you to 90 days in jail on September 11th, 2006. 2006, there's probably a video from the court appearance. It's probably actually an old VHS tape. There's probably a video from the court appearance. If you want someone to, if you want us to try to dig it up, we can do that. Obviously, it's not going to happen today, but there's probably a video from the court appearance. We can let you see it at some point in the next few days.
Yeah, cause see, I ain't never been in no trouble here in Florida. That one time they locked me up one time in jail, and I went to court. They gave me probation. And I had
Let me do
6 months
this.
probation.
Let me take a look at one of the checks and tell you what address was on the checks, and then you'll know if you ever lived at that address or not.
Because I don't even. Was they my checks?
They were written to those grocery stores I just named.
And I don't even recall those grocery stores. I don't even know a grocery store in Sneeze or Malone. Them grocery stores in Malone.
Which is it? Did you think you got probation, or do you not remember it at all? Because those two kind of don't.
I had a probation thing here for once. That's the only thing I ever had.
Okay. On the checks, there's an address of 4160. Listen to me. On the checks, there's an address of 4161 Billingsley Lane. You know what else is on the check? There's a driver's license number on the check.
Okay, is it 7312353?
Is what? Is the number you just gave me is not a driver's license number. What are you asking me?
That's my driver's license number.
No, did you have a Florida driver's license at one time?
I got Alabama driver's license.
Did you have a Florida driver's license number at one time?
No, I have Alabama. I never had Florida driver's license.
Okay. Yeah, so y'all have a Florida driver's license number on his first appearance sheet today.
No, it's not a Florida driver's license on my first appearance. I have Alabama.
Corporal Jones.
Yes, sir. I'm grabbing his file. That's what.
Thank you.
That's what was written on the report was a Florida driver's license.
No, it's Alabama. My driver's license is 7312353 out of Alabama.
Okay, we're going to take a look at this driver's license number and the picture of the photo of the person that has that driver's license number. B200. I can't read that. 163.
And the only thing I've ever been I've been here at y'all jailhouse one time, and it's been a long, way before that time. And I was put on probation for 6 months, and I completed.
You have something?
You confirmed his middle name. Dispatch said there were two Daryl Brooks for the same DOB, but different.
Really? Okay, so dispatch at the sheriff's department is telling us that there are two Daryl Buggs with the same middle name, same date of birth, but different middle names. What's your middle name, Mr. Buggs?
My middle name is Canisius.
Yeah, that's the name that's on this warrant. B200 163 7825078. I think I had an extra number in there.
Just like yesterday, told me they had two paperwork with me with two different socials or somebody else and me. And I got Alabama a driver license, and they are accurate.
Did you ever live at 4161 Billingsley Lane?
That's no, sir. I don't even know where that's at.
In Greenwood?
No, sir. My father lives in 2A at 4048 Winter Green Road. That's the only address I ever lived at.
The photograph on here is from 2005. So we got a 20-year-old photograph. So it's really of limited value.
Let me see it. I just.
That record is transferred.
I'm curious.
No, but it does show a state of birth, a state of Alabama, state of birth, Alabama. See, that's the 20-year-old photo we have.
That's not him.
Well, I appreciate that expert opinion, but I don't know if it is or not.
I just looked at it. I mean, you can't see some of the features.
I have no idea.
That's not me, young, because I don't know about the address or nothing. I live in Alabama all my life. My father lived in 2A. I got Alabama driver's license and had them for many years. I was
Having two Daryl Bugs is coincidental. Having two Daryl Canisius Bugs, that's not a coincidence. It's almost unfathomable that you would have two people with that name and the same date of birth. That's just hard for me to imagine. So,
well, I know I ain't know.
Let me see if we got anything else in this file. See if there's any fingerprints or anything in here we can. Okay, what about the signature from today compared to the signature on the checks? Let's take a look at that.
I don't think it's him.
All right, so there's a signature on the check. And that's not it.
You do share screening?
I'm sorry?
You do share screen, on the Zoom? I mean, just show them that picture if you can share the screen.
We don't have the ability because the jail's not connected to Zoom. We're connected to them through the Polycom, so. I thought there was a sheet they signed from the jail, don't. Oh, there it is right there.
If there's anything else, somebody done used my did some got some idea or something in my name or something, but I don't have no driver license in Florida. Never have.
It says refuse to sign. So did you refuse to sign your fingerprints yesterday?
That's because I told them I didn't have no charge here and I shouldn't have it. He said, if you feel like you don't have a charge, you don't need to sign, because what I'm here for now, I don't have a charge. I was arrested yesterday. They ran my name and realized I had a hold out of Alabama for VOP. When I got here, they tried to tell me I had a grand theft. I said, I don't have no grand theft. I ain't never been charged with nothing. I don't have nothing. He said, well, if you don't feel like you have a charge, you don't have to sign it. That's the only reason I didn't sign. But there's other paperwork here that I did sign.
Mr. Brooks, you live you live in Greenwood?
I live in Alabama at 9503. My father lives at Greenwood, 4048 Winter Green Road. I just oversees him. I'm his caretaker. He's 78
So
years
you
old.
put the Florida address on your form at the jail yesterday because you put the Winter Green Road address.
Yeah, so I can make sure that my father gets all information that's concerned while I was here.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. You've got Alabama saying they want you. It is what it is. You've got to deal with the allegations in Alabama.
Right.
As to the Florida allegations, we'll let the sheriff's department figure out if they think you're the same person that's got a warrant or not. So I'm going to ask the sheriff's department to look at the warrant, and if someone needs to go out there and determine if they think it's the same person or not. They do that all the time. That's their job. So if they serve you with these 4 warrants, then we'll deal with those at first appearance. In the meantime, you've still got a hold out of Alabama that you've got to deal with. And at this point, you're choosing not to sign a waiver of extradition. Is that right, sir?
Oh, no, I want to go to Alabama. I'm ready to go to Alabama now.
He's got local charges.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
He's got local charges.
Grand theft.
The grand theft's here?
Yeah.
Well, I thought the grand theft was in Alabama.
It's here.
Okay.
That's the thing that I did not sign, that I told them that I don't have nothing here in Florida. I don't have no warrants here in Florida. I don't have any caught no charges here. I haven't did nothing in Florida to have no grand theft.
Give me a second to read the local charge. Let's see what the local charge is related to.
That's what I was explaining to the attorney or somebody who was here today. I said, I don't have any charges in in Florida. When the officers brought me in yesterday, we didn't talk about no charges against me here. And I didn't have nothing. And they must told me I didn't have anything here. I'm just being held for Houston County. But then when I get inside of here, they tell me I'm being charged for a grand theft.
I'm having a hard time reading it. If you'll give me just 30 seconds to read this complaint, that'd be helpful.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I apologize.
Like my wife talking during the ball game, huh? Okay, so Mr. Bugs, you do have a complaint from yesterday where you were arrested for one charge of grand theft. I have read that complaint. There is probable cause for grand theft. It involves a lawnmower. So in that case, you're entitled to a bond. So I know this is confusing. It's confusing to me. I'm gonna set you a bond of $5,000 cash or surety on the case from yesterday with a condition, no contact with alleged victim. In addition to that, right now, it appears you have a hold from Alabama. They're saying that you're the person that they want in the state of Alabama. And I don't know that we even know what the charge is up there, but Alabama's saying someone with your name and date of birth is who they want, and that's something we'll deal with at a later date. If you post bond, we'll deal with it then. If you don't post bond, you'll resolve your local charges first, and then we'll deal with the state of Alabama. The third issue you have are these 4 old issuing worthless check warrants. The sheriff's department is going to be looking into those and determining if they think you're the same person that has these warrants or not.
And they can use my signature stuff up here. I know I didn't sign that warrant thing, but I've signed a lot of more things up here.
That's signature from what, Mr. McDaniel? Okay, that's the signature on the check from it's hard to say, it's 19 years ago. That's the signature on that check. If you request an Alabama driver's license, can you get a photo history too? Alabama only gives you driver's license. So, Mr. Bugs, that's where we stand. You've got one charge here with a bond. You got 4 charges that they haven't served you with. They'll have to make a determination if they think it's you or not. And then the 5th issue is the 6th issue is the Alabama charges they say they want you for up there. You have any questions, sir?
I guess okay, you got the bond for $5,000 for this charge that I'm not aware of. I can't make the bond. I guess I don't have my father's. I don't know what I got to do with this here.
The $5,000 bond is for the lawnmower theft you were accused of, that you arrested for yesterday. That's what the bond is for.
Can I get an R&R so I can be expedited to Alabama on this charge that y'all have me for?
No, sir, not with a felony. Not with a felony that you're accused of. I wouldn't give you an ROR. With a criminal history I've got here too. Now, that's where things stand. All right. Wish you the best, sir. If they determine that if the sheriff's department determines that's you on those warrants, they think it's you, then I'll see you at first appearance tomorrow on those 4 worthless check cases. And we'll try to see if we can get you copies of those checks so you can see the signature on the checks and the address on the checks.
And if they discover that none of that has to do with me, no kind of stuff, can I get the R&R on this charge I have now to be released to Alabama?
No, I wouldn't give you an ROR on a Florida charge when you already have an Alabama warrant anyway. I wouldn't do that. I would set you a bond, which is what I've done. If you've got an Alabama charge and now you've got a new charge in Florida, I'm not going to give you an ROR with your criminal history.
But see, my only thing, I know I explained it to you about Alabama because therefore I just have a VOP, which is going to be dropped once I got there because I've already seen my probation officer and this charge should not have even still exist. But I know that you don't have anything to do with that part. So I won't have nothing to hold me once I get to Alabama besides being released is the thing. It's going to be hard for me.
That may be correct. It may not be, but you've got a bond today. Have a good day, sir. After Mr. Bugs, we have Willard Porter.
Okay, again, I'd like some feedback on that judge. That's Wade Mercer, Jackson County, Florida. Put a 1 in the chat if you like him. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Let's go to Woodhaven, Michigan, and say good morning to Judge Dad.
I'm in 3 times a month. I'll make it bi-weekly for 3 months. If you're clean, I'll make it monthly. Obtain and maintain employment and provide proof. Serve 3 days jail. I'll let you serve those by way of, I'm not going to make you do the court work. I'll let you do community service. 3 days in lieu of jail, okay? So 24 hours of community service, and I'm going to have you complete that in this case. I'll give you until July the 15th. Fines 100, costs 125, 75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment. So your fines and costs amount to $350, screening fees 60 for 410, probation fees are $240, your total $650. If you violate, your probation could be revoked, you could be incarcerated for 90 days, you have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. If you are if you're compliant at the end of that year, I'm going to dismiss your case. We're going to give you a review hearing date, and that'll be on motion to prosecutor, but you comply with everything, they'll move to dismiss, and this will go away. I mean, it'll still be on your criminal history as a non-public record. So the review date in this case will be on
May 6th of 26 at 9 o'clock.
May 6th of 26 at 9, you said?
Yes, 9 o'clock.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. So go down the hall. We'll get your notice, and then you'll come back on that date. If you're compliant, again, the case will be dismissed. So, first of all, you have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. If you violate probation, you could get 90 days. Do you understand all that? Mr. Haggett, does he have money to pay today?
He doesn't, could he have a payment plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna let him pay $75 weekly, and I'm gonna start this beginning on June.
I appreciate the time, as I'm gonna work on getting that full.
June 23rd, okay? And if you need more time because you don't have employment yet, then you call the court, we'll go on Zoom, on or before the due date, on or before the due date. Or you can come in and see me, I'll be glad to give you an extension. Okay, do you understand that? Anything else?
No, sir.
Have a good day. It's not on this
You
case,
also,
is
thank
it? Come on. Great. Okay, thanks. Corey Wayne Branch. 25W838565 A and B. I want to have Mr. Persinger's file, if we don't have it down there. Your name, sir?
Corey Branch.
Charged with libel, unlicensed, you're charged with no insurance, you have the right to a lawyer for arraignment. If you want one, I'll give you one, otherwise I'll arraign you and let you go talk to the prosecutor.
Talk to the prosecutor.
Pardon?
Lawyer, please. Or talk to the prosecutor, you said?
Yeah, if you want me to give you a lawyer,
Yep.
I'm gonna give you a lawyer. If you don't, if you waive your right to a lawyer, I'm gonna arraign you and send you to the prosecutor, enter a not guilty plea after I arraign you and let you talk to the prosecutor.
I'll talk to the lawyer.
Okay, we'll give you a lawyer, go out in the hall and just be patient. They'll be with you momentarily.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Paula Pitts, Paula Simone Pitts, 24B146982 A and B.
Thank you, Judge, and good morning. For the record, Your Honor, House Counsel, Attorney Mike Golden, P 65417, on behalf of Ms. Fitz. Ms., can you just please state your full legal name for the record?
Paula Simone Fitz.
Judge, according to this docket, we're on a show cause for the expired plate civil infraction. I do believe that she is not in default under the driving while license suspended, and reportedly is going to start making payments on that.
She's in default on the expired plate.
Yes.
We've never resolved the misdemeanor, which I'm gonna send you to them today.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, Judge.
She showed up November 20 of 24, she was arraigned. They asked for an adjournment, I adjourned it to December 4th. They asked for another adjournment, I adjourned it to the 18th. She didn't show up on December 18th. We rescheduled the show. We rescheduled the show cause for January 15th. She didn't show up then.
Your Honor, what I can do is.
Hang on a second.
Yes,
You
Judge.
stand mute, does she stand mute, wait formal reading?
On the DWLS, yes, Judge.
Where you been, ma'am?
I didn't have a car to get here.
That means you may not have a car next time. That means I should have to set a cash bond, so we'll give you a ride. The police back there can give you a ride. Don't play with me. I didn't have a ride. You live in Taylor. You know what I'd do if I didn't have a ride? And I'm serious. If I got a seatbelt ticket and I needed to be there, I'd walk to Taylor. Don't play games with me. You have some money with you?
No.
You better. What made you come in here today out of curiosity? You haven't been here in months. What made you come in today?
Because I had a warrant for my arrest.
We've had a warrant for your arrest for a long time.
I got paper in the mail, so I decided to show up.
I decided to show up.
I'll go take care of the DWLS. We'll come back and we'll recall the case if that please support, Your Honor.
You don't endear yourself to judges when you pull this nonsense, Ms. Pitt. Do you understand?
This fits, Your Honor.
It fits. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. My apology. You still, Ms. Fitz, do not endear yourself to judges when you do this. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll go take care of it.
$500 personal bond, ma'am, you miss again, you better bring a lot of money with you. You cannot leave the state without consent or violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. You go talk to them, and then I'll work with her on this one, Mr. Baldwin. If you resolve the initial one, I'll work with her on a payment plan on that,
All right, we
okay?
have that worked out.
Thank you.
Yes.
Abigail Gideon, 25W83533.
I need the file.
Who? Yeah, I do.
It's not on the docket.
I know, but I'm gonna talk to him about something that's sobriety court, so somebody needs to get the file for me. Ma'am, your name?
Thanks.
Abigail Nicole again.
You're charged with drive while unlicensed.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to give you a lawyer if you want one. Do you want a lawyer?
No, I'm just gonna plead guilty. Yeah.
Well, don't do that. Don't rush into it. It is alleged that you did on April 28 to 25 at 4:57 PM operated motor vehicle on Allen or Vreeland and Woodhaven while you were unlicensed. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 500 fines, 90 days jail, costs are all those. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes, sir.
You plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will be no hearing or trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you waive your right to a lawyer still?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna enter a not guilty plea for you, okay? I'm gonna let you go talk to the prosecutor. I'm gonna give you a $500 personal bond. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. So you can go over there to the prosecutor and you'll talk to him. And if he doesn't give you what you want, you can come back in here and ask me for a lawyer, okay?
Okay, sir.
Any questions before you go over there?
No, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Maman Jamal Mahdi. I'm sorry, Maman Jamal Ahmed, 25W837-865A and B. I called the lawyer's name. Mr. Mahdi out there? Is Mr. Mahdi out there, Lisa? I see a stip form here.
Mr. Mahdi, this is his office. He's in an active bankruptcy court hearing at the moment. Can we call back his case in a couple minutes?
Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm his paralegal. He's just in another room on a 341.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call it in a few minutes, okay?
Okay,
Why
sounds good.
don't you, wait a minute, why don't you, just get a hold of my judicial clerk when he's ready, okay? You can chat with her on there. Thanks.
All right, sounds
Brandon
good. Thank
Russell
you.
Persinger, 23R720609. Can I have Emily in here, please? All right, Mr. Persinger, your name?
Brandon Persinger.
All right. I'm not sure exactly how much you owe. I'm gonna find out.
Almost 1,800.
Yeah, I mean, you've let this go, Brandon. I mean, I try to work with you and people in sobriety court and non-sobriety.
You just set up the payment plan with you, like, I was telling you, sales review, I just lost my job.
I know, but you gotta stay with me. I'm gonna let you do sobriety, community service. How many hours of community service can you do here? Because I'm not gonna give, pardon?
By when?
Emily's on her way, Judge.
I'm gonna give you $12.50 an hour for community service. That's the best I'm gonna do. So you can tell me how many hours you wanna do. Your name?
Emily Casino?
He owes 1,800, bet 1,740 it looks like, right?
Yes, that's in my head.
You tell me what you wanna do.
I don't know, I'm really bad at math, but, I don't know, I can do whatever that equals to the $70 a week. I'll do that for like the next 3-4 weeks till I'm back to work and start paying again.
All right, let me think this through. He's paying 70 per week?
That's what we had discussed last time, and then he lost his job.
Right.
But he would graduate, December, so we don't have a ton of time.
I know. All right. I'm saying 280. Figure out what 6 weeks today from is. Defendant can perform 20 hours of community service in lieu of paying 22 hours of community service in lieu of paying $350. But community service must be completed by June 19th. Payments of $70 per week to resume by June 26th. To resume June 26th. All money due by November 15th. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to do that, I'll be glad to let you do that. 22 hours in lieu of paying $350, but it has to be completed by June 19th. Payments of $70 per week to resume by June 26th. All money due by November 15th. If we need to do this again, I don't have a problem. I'll be happy to work with you, okay? Good luck to you. Thank you. Ava Michelle Woodley, 25F243-275. Your name, ma'am?
Ava Woodley?
All right, officer, your name?
Officer Denson, Flat Rock Police.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Was anybody hurt or serious damage to the other car?
Both vehicles suffered serious damage, had to be towed, and the only person that was possibly injured was Ms. Woodley herself.
I mean, I don't mind if you want to reduce it to a 1-pointer, I can do that. Since nobody was hurt, I'll do that for. If you want to make it 5 over, the speed limit on Olmsted is what, 35? 40?
40.
You want to plead is that good with you?
Yes, I was gonna ask if we could work something out. I did check her driving record.
I know.
This is the only ticket she has got.
It's just that when somebody's car is totaled, I just don't feel comfortable with it. So I'm sorry. Do you want to plead to that or do you want to have a hearing? Okay. I mean, accidents happen. It just,
I understand.
okay, to the charge 5 over, responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
Don't be all uptight here. Just relax, okay? Okay, I'll accept the plea, dismiss the original charge at 195 is your total. Can you pay that or do you need time? All right, I wish you well. Good luck. Do you have another one, officer? Do you have another?
No, it'll be, Officer Bettman, if they read that record.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, Mr. Mahdi is ready also.
People against, Jamal Ahmed, 25W837865, A and B. All right, counsel, good morning. Your appearance?
Ashley, have courts gone deciding digitally? We have evidence of that. If you'll recall, last week during a live, we visited, I forget, was that Harris? No, it was Bexar County. It was the Bexar County Jail Court, where when they were going through their procedures, they had all the paperwork that they were showing, and I let it go because it didn't have like addresses or phone numbers or anything on it, but they were signing everything digitally as they went. So I think a lot of courts have indeed gone to that. Back to Judge.
Your name, ma'am?
Wendy K. Augustinus.
You're charged with violation of the parental responsibility law. You have the right to a lawyer. If you want one, I'll give you one. If you want a lawyer. Okay, so you're charged with failure to ensure the regular attendance of your son at Bates Elementary, April 4 of 25 at 1:56 p.m. So they're saying you, hang on. So they're saying over a period of time that you failed to send your child to school. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 500 fines, 90 days jail, costs, or all those. Do you understand that? And did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that? All right. You still wish to waive your right to a lawyer? It's up to you.
I mean, I don't know.
It's up to you. If you want to represent yourself, you can. If you don't, it's up to you. I can't.
I can. I just be charged.
I can't. Wait a minute. Hang on. Slow down. Slow down. Just slow down. I can't go on this unless you tell me, Judge.
I'll represent myself.
Are you sure? All right. So I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you. I'm going to give you a $500 personal bond. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. Defendant to ensure child attends school with no unexcused absences. Okay?
Yes.
We know how important it is to get through school. If we don't get through school, I don't know what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were a couple of notes. He was there, I think it was like 4 days. They didn't give me a note from my other son. It was only like 3 or 4 days over the limit.
Well, there shouldn't do, kids should never miss school unless they're sick, right?
I know, we did get.
But the kids should never miss school unless they're sick, right? Just like adults should never miss work unless they're sick, right?
That's evidently, that helps with.
You go talk to the prosecutor. If he doesn't give you what you want, you can come back in and tell me you want a lawyer and I'll be happy to give you one, okay?
Oh, thank you.
All right, good luck. Makunovich. Eric Allen Makunovich, 24T642916.
Good morning, Eric Allen Makunovich.
So we have a problem. Who's this with you?
My wife.
You're charged with violations of probation. Who's Danielle Lawler?
My ex-fiance.
Okay.
The motor.
Hang on, slow down. So they left a note for me. I never liked these notes. Smells of booze. Listen, they don't just come in and tell me that just to make up stories. If you want, I'll give you a PBT.
She does.
Listen to me.
I have.
Listen to me. She does what?
She has been trying to keep me out of my
Did you hear what I said?
What's that?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
We're not going on this case if you're under the influence.
I'm sure I'm not.
Well, then let's get a PBT. We'll give it to you. And I'll see whether or not you're being truthful. Now, I want you to understand, while it's reprehensible to have somebody come to court that's intoxicated, there must not have been alcohol involved in this incident because just let me finish.
I wasn't.
You're starting to shake your head already.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. While it's repulsive for somebody to come to court intoxicated, I didn't order you not to drink. This incident of this MDOP must have had nothing to do with alcohol, or I would have ordered. So you don't need to get all uptight and start acting like I'm gonna lock you up. But I am not going on this case if you are at all intoxicated. Now, maybe a couple people just thought you smelled the booze and you weren't drinking. So you will be a lot better off if you're honest with me. And then we'll go on from there and I'll figure out how I'm gonna handle this. You got it?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have.
Sir, we're not to that point. We're not talking about the case. All I want to know is, were you drinking before you came to court today? Yes or no?
I drank last night.
Give him a PBT. And then you'll come back in front of me. I have a feeling it's going to reflect worse than that, but what do I know? Jacqueline Marie Ench. 25F256499 A and B. Geez, I feel old right now. Your name?
Officer McNally, Flat Rock Police Department.
How old are you?
21.
Like I said, I feel really old. All right, you signed this already. You're gonna do a signing on record on this, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, raise your right hand. Solemnly swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you'll give in these proceedings will be the whole true self you got. Okay, go ahead.
I'm 5'9".
Is this your first one?
It is.
Do you want me to grade you?
Uh,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm just messing around. I have to laugh or at least smile up here now and then. Go ahead.
I'm 5'9", 25 at approximately 13:45 hours. Corporal Beckman, Corporal Rachel, and Officer Miley were dispatched to 29405 Evergreen Street for domestic violence in progress. Beckman, Miley, and Rachel arrived on scene in a fully marked Scout and fully uniformed. Beckman and Miley spoke with the caller, Kelly Inch. Rachel spoke with the other party, Jacqueline Inch. Kelly stated on today's date, 5/9/25 at approximately 13:45 hours, her daughter, Jacqueline Inch, was not acting right. Jacqueline walked up to Kelly and told Kelly she had to put her hands in her mouth to avoid going to hell. Kelly told
She had to what?
Put her hands in her mouth to avoid going to hell.
Okay.
Kelly told Jacqueline no. Jacqueline then grabbed hold of Kelly's hand and attempted to shove Kelly's hand in her mouth. At this time, Kelly's son, Jeffrey Inch, intervened. Jeffrey grabbed Jacqueline's arms and pulled them away from Kelly's face. In the process, Jacqueline bit Jeffrey's right arm and scratched his arm. To avoid any further issues, Jeffrey pulled Jacqueline outside of the residence. Jeffrey stated he was attempting to pull Jacqueline off his mother, Kelly. Jeffrey was in fear of Kelly's safety and felt he had to intervene. Jeffrey stated after he pulled Jacqueline off Kelly and pulled Jacqueline outside, Jacqueline stopped. Jacqueline then entered her vehicle and parked in the driveway. Begeman observed redness on Kelly's cheeks and the upper part of her neck. Begeman also observed what appeared to be a bite mark on Jeffrey's right lower forearm. Begeman observed what appeared to be several small scratch marks on Jeffrey's right lower forearm. At this time, Begeman and Miley approached Jacqueline. Jacqueline was advised to place her hands behind her back. Miley placed Jacqueline in handcuffs, and Jacqueline was transported back to FRPD. Begeman completed a warrant complaint and sent it to the city prosecutor for charges. Both Kelly and Jeffrey stated they wished to proceed with charges.
Is Kelly a mother of,
She's the mother of Jacqueline.
based on your sworn testimony, I'm gonna go ahead and find there's probable cause to believe the crimes of domestic were committed and probable cause to believe that the defendant Jacqueline Inch committed those crimes and authorized the issuance of the summons that was presented. I'm gonna go ahead and sign that, and we will set this for a court date on both of these. I'll note that you already signed the complaint, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, and just in the future, when you're gonna do it in the signing on record like this, we'll do it in person. So you would come in, it's not signed, I'll swear you in, and then you can go ahead and sign it once I authorize, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, have a great day. Thank you very much, Corporal.
086. 1086.
It's a lot. Come on up here, Mr. Makunovich.
I highly apologize.
Derek Allen Makunovich, 242-642-916. Your name again?
Derek Allen.
Well, why would you lie to me?
I didn't lie. I told you I drank last night. I didn't sleep.
If you drank, what time did you stop drinking?
I didn't get to sleep until
What time did you stop drinking?
about 10 o'clock.
All right, that was nearly 12 hours ago. Now, I just want to let you in on a secret. If you have an would you say 086?
086.
And that was 12 hours ago, you can add about another 1.18. So you're somewhere around 2.6 when you went to sleep. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I drank with.
Looking to chastise you here. Ma'am, come on up here. Please.
Stand photo.
Your name?
Lauren Cummins.
I'm not gonna ask if he drove here. Do you have a valid license? Do you drive?
Yes,
You still drive?
yes,
I'm gonna assume you drove him.
yes.
All right. Now, this is problematic for me because I could lock him up right now, probably should. Under what authority? Nah, I don't really know if I have any, to be honest with you. I didn't order him not to consume alcohol. I'm not gonna make my own rules. But I have a concern here when I got somebody who's legally intoxicated. Bring the victim in.
Okay.
Just let me finish it. Your name, ma'am? Ma'am, what's your name, please?
Danielle Lover.
So I have concerns here. I can't go into it except to say that Mr. Makunovich has been drinking. He's still legally intoxicated as of this point. I'm going to set this for another hearing date. I'm not going to go on and deal with a case where somebody's intoxicated But I'm really concerned, ma'am, just relax. Just relax. I'm talking about you, Mrs., what's your name again?
McNally.
What's your first name?
Lori.
So I hope no alcohol is a condition of your bond.
No.
No illegal drugs. No marijuana. I'm not going to even arraign you right now. I'm just telling you, I'm gonna set this for a hearing, but I'm adding a bond condition. I suppose I could get you a lawyer, but I'm not locking you up, and I'm not gonna set a cash bond. But no alcohol, no controlled substances, no marijuana. You're to continue to comply with all terms and conditions of probation.
Yes.
Now, I worry about this. Ma'am, you're gonna drive home?
Yes.
I have your word on that.
Yes.
Because if I see him or I have a court officer tell me that he's driving out of the parking lot, I will call the police. Stop, Mr. Makunovich, stop. Do you work today?
I took off work today.
Is that true, ma'am?
Yes, he's not.
So you're not going out of the house, right?
I do all the driving.
Okay. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm rescheduling this. Now, Lisa, why don't you give me another date? I'll just make a note. Defendant appeared intoxicated. Court added bond condition of no alcohol or controlled substances. And again, it's not my practice to order no alcohol if it doesn't have anything to do with this incident. But in this case now, you've shown up here, you're drunk. You can tell me all you want.
May 22nd at 11.
May 22nd at 11. No alcohol, no marijuana, no controlled substances. But this is a big alarm, I hope, for you, sir. Because if you're showing up and you were drinking to the tune of a 2.6, the overwhelming majority of people would be vomiting long before that, okay? Or at least very ill, so that's what I'll do. Ma'am, is that date good with you? Sure, May 26th, you said, Lisa?
May 22nd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What day was this?
That's a week from tomorrow, so that would be next Thursday.
Yeah.
At 8:30, Lisa?
11.
Oh, at 11. Okay? I have your word, you're driving.
Yes. I do driving.
Okay. Do not go out and drive a motor vehicle, sir. Good luck. Thank you. Thanks, ma'am. Go down the hall. We're going to give you a notice, too, and we're going to give you a notice, sir. Abigail Gideon.
So yeah, this guy concerns me. So before I started working on my own, quite a long time ago now, I spent a lot of time in the corporate world. If you spend any time in this channel, you'll know all this. But I had the role of a teacher and a trainer in a lot of the things that I did, and those often evolve into more of a one-on-one mentoring role with a lot of people. And one of the things that I used to always tell people, I sound like Judge Boyd there. Here's the thing I always tell people. Anyways, I used to say that even the best person is only a couple of bad choices away from completely changing their life in a negative direction. And it's true. It can happen to any of us. You make a couple of wrong turns, and the next thing you know, you're in a very bad place. This guy strikes me as being one half of a turn away from having things go very, very south in his life. I don't know the guy, just the impression that I get, but he just feels like he's teetering right on the edge of things going incredibly poorly. So I pray that he figures it out, and that his wife helps him, and that he gets into a better spot. Anyways, let's go say good morning to Judge Boyd.
Well, could I see the file on Joseph Harris, please? All right, so on this case, these are both PF cases. And so where are we on discovery?
Judge, I believe that we're still in the process of collecting all the discovery to turn over to Mr. Piddle.
Okay, and then there's one, so the theft case has been indicted. Oh, I'm sorry, the theft case and the theft of property both have been indicted. Are there any more PF cases, counsel?
I don't believe so, Judge.
All right, it's listed on the docket as PF, but I think they both have been indicted.
I checked yesterday. I didn't see that they were indicted, but maybe they were presented this week, and I just didn't see that.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. This isn't the right file. I need Joseph Harris.
It should be an unauthorized use.
Yeah, these files are for Joshua Hernandez. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So this is a motion to set bond.
Correct.
Okay. All right. State, are you prepared to proceed on the motion to set bond in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, Judge, and I believe we have an agreement with Mr. Piddle.
All right. We're going to go on the record. The court is going to call 2025 PF 03497 and 2025 PF 03496. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Megan Galloway for the state.
And Kelly Piddle for Joseph Harris.
All right. And you're Mr. Harris?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection to your attorney appearing by Zoom?
No, ma'am.
State any objections?
No, Judge.
All right. The defense has filed a motion to set bond in each of these cases. State, are you prepared to proceed on the motions?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court sees that there's a proposed agreement for $20,000 in each bond. In each case, is that correct?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. So other than these two cases, does the defendant have any other criminal history?
He's currently on probation for the offense of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. We had a contested MTR set last week in which the state withdrew the MTR and the court put him on partial GPS.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Joseph Harris, Your Honor.
All right, have you ever used any type of drugs in the past?
Yes, Your
Honor. Judge, I'm gonna advise him not to answer that question.
Then what I can tell you is I can't set bond because I need to set conditions of bond so that he can be rehabilitated. So if he has drug use in the past, I need to know, because I need to know whether or not to have him do random UAs. Otherwise, if you don't want me to ask any of these questions, I'm going to load his conditions up with everything that he could possibly need help with.
Judge, he's being supervised by probation and providing UAs to probation. I would ask that.
I'm going to add it to his conditions because the problem is the motion to revoke was withdrawn. So if you all want me to fly blind, I will fly blind, but I can tell you what's going to end up happening. He's going to be loaded up with every type of condition because the law says that I need to know certain things about your client and it set certain conditions of bond. So that's where we are. So if you don't want me to ask any questions of that, then I won't ask any questions of that. But he's going to be loaded up with all the conditions of bond as though these are issues he may have.
Okay, Judge, please proceed.
Proceed with questions or proceed with conditions?
Yep. Questions, please.
All right. So have you ever used any type of drugs in the past?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And what type of drugs would those be?
Marijuana.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
How far did you go in school?
9th grade, Your Honor.
All right. And have you been previously employed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Doing what?
I worked at a cabinet shop.
All right. And then the next question is, if you were released on bond, do you have a place to stay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who would be in the household?
My girlfriend's dad and her grandma, Your Honor.
All right. Are there any minors in the household?
No, Your Honor.
And have you ever had any type of mental health issues?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And have you ever taken any medication for that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions before the court sets bond?
No, Judge.
All right. All right. And each cause number, this is what the court will do. The court will set your bond at $20,000. The court is going to order regular UAs. There's going to be sober support meetings. There is going to be 90 sober support meetings in 90 days. There's going to be partial GPS, waive fees, and that is for employment only. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And state, do you want a curfew with the employment?
We would request 9 p.m. curfew, but if his hours were deferred, we would renegotiate with Mr. Piddle.
All right, so with regards to your employment, and I want you to understand what I'm saying, and if you don't understand it, just let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
So while you're on GPS, you're allowed to work. If for some reason your work schedule, let's say your work schedule is from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Even though the state is saying they're recommending that with your work schedule, your curfew be till 9 p.m., you're not allowed to stay out till 9 p.m. if your work hours end before then. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if for some reason your work hours go to 9 p.m., then you're allowed to be out at 9 p.m. because you're at work. If your work hours go to 10 p.m., your attorney is going to have to come in and ask for permission. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you deviate from this partial GPS for work only, then I'm going to receive notice, the state is going to receive notice, and there's a potential that your bond could be revoked and a judge's warrant will be issued and you will be taken off a bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So some people think, oh, on my way to work, the Burger King is right there. Let me stop at Burger King. You're not allowed to do that. It's from home to work. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you have health insurance or no?
No, ma'am.
All right. And are you currently on any type of medication for mental health issues?
Lexapro, Your Honor.
All right. So there's going to be a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. If you have your own personal doctor that you're seeing, then you can see that personal doctor. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there anything else you need from the court to be successful on your bond?
No, ma'am.
All right. Any other requests from the states?
No, Judge.
Okay, so we can go off the record. Here's the thing. They asked that your motion to revoke be withdrawn. When you are released from custody, you need to immediately go to probation. You're probably not going to be released from the Bexar County Jail till midnight. So the next day, even if you're tired, you need to call into your probation officer. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you do not understand that I'm requesting?
I just have one question.
Sure.
So last time when they put me on the GPS monitor, is that going to be the same system though it's work release, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Because I'm asking that the fees be waived.
Yes, ma'am.
So they will probably, they should be able to get you on a GPS monitor today, but if not, it'll be at the latest tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
This Joshua.
And probation, I know his motion to revoke was withdrawn, but are there any other things that he needs to know or anything he needs to do once he's released? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have an excuse?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, just a quick update. For those of you who were with us yesterday at the end of the show, we were watching that hearing in Judge Simpson's court, and we didn't get the resolution for that. I did post a video yesterday that did include the resolution, so if you haven't seen that and you're curious how all of that ended up playing out, you can find that video on the channel, so be sure to check that out. Let's go to the great state of Louisiana, where they are doing a parole hearing in the State Pardon and Paroles Board.
Committee on parole, and we're from Baton Rouge to Allen Correctional. The time is 9:32. The date is May the 14th, and we're going to be talking to Mr. Andy Swanson. Is that you, Mr. Swanson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know your DOC number?
438811.
Okay. We've already had introductions from the staff here in headquarters, and we've had introductions there at the jail or at the prison correctional facility. And so we'll move straight into the process that we're going to be going through today. We're going to first hear from you and what you have to say about why you feel like that you are deserving and warrant this particular parole that you've applied for. Then we're going to hear from the facility about what kind of inmates you've been through this time. Then we're going to hear from the folks that are supporting you on Zoom. And then we'll hear from Miss Andreanne Hutchison. Miss Hutchison, that's you there, correct? And good morning. And we'll let you choose when you want to speak. And then we will hear from the opposition, the victim's brother and sister-in-law, who will be on Zoom also. Then we will conduct our questioning. Ms. Renatza will lead the interview, and then we'll vote. So it's a pretty simple process. So let's move straight into your statement, Mr. Swanson. Exactly what did you do? Why are you there? How do you feel about it? What have you done to rehabilitate, to prove to us that you are rehabilitated? Go ahead.
Right, sir. As you know, I'm here for taking the life of a mother, daughter, wife, sister. And ever since my incarceration, since the very beginning, I've heard some pretty terrible things about myself in the trial, in my other parole hearing and things like that. So I've tried to rectify those situations through not only helping myself, but helping other people. The main thing is staying sober, because I wasn't a very good feller when I was out there drinking. Some people aren't meant to drink. I'm one of those people. And I've been involved with our veterans incarcerated, especially here. We have sponsored at Allen Correctional Center various AA treatment programs, substance abuse programs. I live in the XO of a Bravo program, which is a veterans tier. We take veterans. We don't have enough veterans on our compound, so we also have what we call auxiliary members. Now, to get there, they already have to be in the right frame of mind, but we make sure there are no relapses or anything like that. And to participate in these programs, you have to take our classes, which some of them I facilitate and a lot of them I stand in on and checking on frequently to make sure that our program is going in the right direction. But mainly I've just tried to keep myself sober, of course, which hasn't been a problem since I've been incarcerated, since the scope of what happened and so many people were harmed by what I did, that I don't want that to ever happen again. And if the board would grant me, I intend to carry the things that I used in prison and that I learned in prison, how to help people, especially veterans, to maybe not make the same mistakes that I made.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And now we'll move on to the facility there. Warden, who's going to speak to us today?
I will speak, and anybody else, you don't mind, they actually like to speak on Andy's behalf. I asked them actually come forward today to speak on his behalf. I met Andy since my arrival here at Allen 3 years ago. And on day one when I actually met him, Andy had proven himself. He worked very, very close to the administrative staff. He's very instrumental with a lot of the things that goes on at the prison with the programs and inmate population, the upkeep of the prison. He does an excellent job with it. And one of the most important things they have to do, he worked very, very closely with the administrative staff. And that says a lot in his behalf in regards to he can be trusted to do the things that need to be done at that particular level. But Andy has really proven himself while actually being here. And we appreciate what he had to do here. So I'm gonna pass it around the table if anybody else wants to speak on his behalf.
This is Assistant Warden Simon, and again, I echo everything Warden Thompson just mentioned. Andy is a very hard worker here. He has been here, for quite some time, and we have no problems with him. He will be one that, will feel the effects of him leaving if he is, granted.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll move into talking to, and I said Carrie Myers, but it's not, Carrie's not here today, right? It's gonna be Andy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hear from you about the Louisiana Parole Project.
Morning, Andrew Hundley, appearing on behalf of Louisiana Parole Project to confirm to the board that Andy Swanson is a client of our organization. As the board's aware, our organization provides reentry support to people coming who are released from prison back into the community. If he would be released, we commit to the board to provide Andy transitional housing in our reentry program. The reentry plan that we are recommending to the board, as is referenced in his attorney's brief, is that Andy stay with our organization for 2 to 3 months in our transitional program while he awaits his ICOTS to Florida to be approved. And then he would, if approved, he would exit our program and then transfer to Florida. If that ICOTS would not be approved, our organization's in a position today to commit to the board that we would provide him long-term housing with our organization until another viable address can be provided. That being said, our organization, as you're aware, Andy had a parole hearing a few years ago. We were not a part of Andy's reentry plan at that time. The reason we've agreed to take Andy on as a client, not only because of his excellent prison record, but we put a lot of stock into what he's done since that denial a few years ago. As you're aware, some people after a denial falter. Andy's continued to maintain an outstanding record and continue to be an asset within the facility. We feel like based on his age and his time served, right now he's in the sweet spot to come home where he can still have a career, earn a living, and work towards being self-sufficient. But in summary, our organization commits to the board that we'll work with Andy on his transition and long-term sobriety plan. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hundley, thank you for those words. Next, we'll hear from Victoria Paulson, who is the sister of Mr. Swanson. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Okay, you're on mute right now.
Now it worked. Got it?
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Now.
I'm old. I'm a lot older than Andy. Andy's my little brother. We have a brother who's 81, and I'm the middle. So we really grew up as 3 only children. And his folks were 45 and 46 when he was born. A lot of people thought he was mine because I was 12. But at that point, they were both fully alcoholics. So he grew up his whole life seeing nothing but them drinking. They were functioning alcoholics. My mother stayed home. My father worked every day. He was a surveyor. He worked long hours, came home, ate, went right to his chair after that, and they drank until they went to bed. So he didn't see anything else. When he was 12, our mom was diagnosed with a terminal blood disease, and she only lived 7 years after that. So he was 19. So he was pretty much on his own because his dad was so engrossed in his own grief, he didn't have time for him. So Andy worked the whole time. He didn't live where we did, but he visited us sometimes. He lived about 100 miles away and was always a hard worker. Finally, when he was older, went into the Army. He'd always wanted to. He did really well there. We kept track of him when he was in Korea and everywhere else. We commuted all the time. And then when he got out, when he moved to Louisiana, we did too. We've always been in touch, and up to the point where he's incarcerated. And then it's all been through mail and through messaging, but we've always kept in touch. I know he's been very busy there. He's always had an ear or a hand for anybody who's there. He's helped inmates. Like they said, he's been in the vets group. He worked in a grill there that they have. He's helped other groups. I know he asked me to send him books all the time. He reads a lot, but we also found that he's an incredible wood carving artist. There's a lot of evidence of that in the prison, and he sent me things, and I think that will help him keep busy besides a job when he gets out. And there's room for money for that because his stuff is incredible. I know alcohol is no reason for doing what he did, but when you're drinking like he did, you totally change. His father did too. His father had the same personality, only Andy was kind. He goes to his AA meetings, and I know he knows too that it will always be a part of his life. He knows he's an alcoholic. I think he will be able to control that. I know he will with all the people he has around him, the people in Florida who want to take him in. And I know he's very, very sorry for what he did and all the people whose lives he changed. But I think he will come out of this better, and he will try every day of the rest of his life to be the man that he should be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your remarks. And Ms. Hutchinson, would you care to say anything at this point?
Can I reserve to speak at the end, please? Or would y'all prefer me now?
Well, I prefer now if you could, that way we can keep them separated.
That's fine. In my brief, the committee has been given a detailed look at Andy's background, his life and circumstances that led to his alcohol abuse and how it contributed to the crime. I mean, I don't present that as any excuse, but just to give you an idea of the years of alcohol abuse that led up to this. There's no doubt that Andy's crime was horrible, and the hurt is still present with Miss Trisha's family, children, and friends. And this is why Andy took the necessary steps over these almost 25 years to rehabilitate to the man you see today. Andy's incarceration and rehabilitation have been a tremendous success, showcasing what true remorse and a desire to change looks like within the Department of Corrections. And that comes from him acknowledging his problem immediately. He began AA in the parish jail. Since then, his Bravo tier now hosts NA and AA meetings, and he's completed DOC programming like Living in Balance. He's taken the necessary steps to understand his disease and what he has to do to maintain his sobriety. He's taken the victim impact class, and he's coupled that information with what he's heard in his trial and what he's heard at the previous hearings, understanding the struggles that his children have gone through, the family has gone through, and those lasting impacts on his crime. In so much that while he does talk a lot about his work with the Veterans Club, what he doesn't speak about as much, but is very important to him, is that he's also raised money for women and children's shelters for abuse victims, feeling almost like a necessity and an obligation because of his crime. He's also taken anger management and has gotten an understanding of who he was when he was drunk, and understanding conflict resolution and just not even putting yourself in those situations. His proudest work that he'll be able to talk to you about is his work within the Vets Club and the Bravo tier, organizing fundraisers that have raised thousands of dollars for veterans. He's done all this in prison. Gifting items to be auctioned to the local American Legion's Hall, and truly creating an environment for men to thrive through programming, mentorship. And what I think is most important is him leading by example and showing what that rehabilitation can be a path to redemption. After Andy's last hearing, which I know y'all have access to, we heard the committee's concern with him leaving a very structured environment and going into free society. So today, Andy comes before you with a well-structured plan that mimics all the things that worked during his incarceration. So we've made contact with, and to connect Andy with 3 veteran organizations in Florida. One is the local American Legion's Hall in the area where he'll be living. Another is a nonprofit veterans organization that fundraises to help pay veteran bills. something that Andy would be a tremendous support to. And then there was a third organization that offered kind of like a second chance organization for veterans that struggle with like PTSD, where Andy would be able to go in and try to volunteer and share his story because they also have substance abuse programs. He has a local NA and AA meeting that offers him a 24/7 access to a sponsor. He has job opportunities in a stable home environment, and as Mr. Hunley explained, the support of LPP until he transitions to Florida. The most important thing I want to do in closing is to point out that the committee today has the ability to control Andy's release. Andy has a good time date. Andy will go home. But today, the board can set parameters and conditions necessary for his success that wouldn't necessarily be available when he comes out on good time release. So if you go to page 12 of my brief, you'll see the terms and conditions that the previous board considered NAAA meetings, community service, and his inability to have contact with the victims are all things that you can set today, which makes parole the better option for Andy because of the limits that you can set. Today, we asked the committee to take into consideration his almost 25 years in prison with an impeccable record of just 2 bad days. Andy has 2 disciplinary write-ups. The support of the Allen staff, whose job it is to ensure public safety, and who I know would not show up and support Andy if they deemed him unfit. Andy handed me a folder today with 24 letters of support from staff. 9 master sergeants, 1 colonel, 2 lieutenant colonels, 6 majors, 3 captains, and 3 lieutenants, who all recommend and support Andy's parole. And most important, his strong remorse and desire to atone for his crime. Again, he has a detailed reentry plan for his success. And lastly, you have the ability as a parole committee to control the reentry of Andy into society. So thank you for your time and consideration of Andy's total record and who he is today, a man far removed from the man he was on the worst day of his life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Appreciate those words. Sure do. Okay, we'll move on now to the folks that are going to speak in opposition. And we have Patty and Jeff Berthelot.
It's Bertho, sir.
Bertho? Okay, thank you. I thought it was.
And we're not Cajun. Yes, sir. So addressing the parole board committee, 25 years ago, this man took my sister's life, okay, in cold blood. He, since that time, even sitting here today, I have yet to hear him say that he's sorry, okay? All I hear is it was about the alcohol. And I understand that. I'm a medical provider for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice here in Texas. I know these inmates. They go through these programs. They manipulate these programs to get out for early release. And what happens? A lot of them end up coming right back because they don't have the sincerity or the remorse for their actions. When he killed my sister, he took my only sister, my parents' only daughter. He killed a mother of 3, who at that time, the kids were 7, 4, and 2 at home. They were at home when he shot her. Was there any remorse that night? No. When he was arrested, at no point in time did he ever say that he was sorry for what he did. He put her body in the bed of his truck. His only job was a part-time logger. Who knows where he was going that night with her body in the bed of his truck. And the kids. For the last 25 years, my parents had to raise those 3 kids. My dad is since dead. He's been dead for 3 years. My mom is in a nursing home. They sacrificed everything to raise the 3 kids that their father took away their mother. I believe when he gets out, which is not fair, he was sentenced to 40 years. In 40 years, he can resume his life. If he gets out early, he can resume his life. My sister will never, ever have that opportunity. My niece and nephews will never get to see their mother. Their kids will never know their grandmother. He was a manipulative person back in the day. And I believe that he's still a dangerous and manipulative person at this time. I'm glad he's a model inmate. I'm glad that he's doing everything there that he can. But I don't think he deserves the right to get out early when we are sentenced to a life sentence without my sister. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We'll take those words into consideration also. Okay, your interview is to be conducted by Ms. Cheryl Renatza on my left. So, Ms. Renatza.
I want to speak.
Okay.
Did Miss Patty want to speak?
Miss Patty, does she want to speak?
Did Miss Patty want to speak?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I apologize for not calling on you. I thought it was just one line here. Go ahead and tell us what's on your mind.
Yes, sir. I just would like to echo the words of my husband and, the board. I appreciate them doing what they have to do as a paid position, and they see him being a model inmate. I think that's wonderful. But again, you have to look back and see that his peers in our system in the United States sentenced him to 40 years. I don't know why it wasn't life, but that's a whole nother story. So 40 years, I truly believe he needs to serve that. That's a punishment by his peers. And again, wonderful that he is a model inmate. That is great for the system. He should be, but I warn you, and I want you to understand his manipulative behavior. I am no psychologist or psychiatrist, but his psychological bipolarness, his sociopath, it just is, his list continues on. And I believe the board is being manipulated by an inmate. And if nothing else, he needs to serve because of his children that he left. When he shot Trish, and she has a name, when he shot her in cold blood and literally threw her body in the back of his truck. I hope that y'all can pull up pictures from the trial and pictures from the scene of what happened and how they lived and where they lived. They moved different places constantly to stay ahead of the creditors. He had credit cards in his children's names at the time. I can't explain to you, and alcohol is not the sole reason of his behavior. So please take this into consideration. Let him continue to serve the sentence that his peers gave him at the time, a minimum of 40 years, which is, again, ridiculous that he didn't get life for the way and what he did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those comments. And I apologize again for not having called on you. Okay, as I said a moment ago, Ms. Renatza, would you take over the interview?
Sure. Mr. Swanson, good morning. How you doing today?
All right, ma'am.
I noticed, I made a note that you were seen before a parole panel in 2021. You were denied, and I've made a note to ask you, why were you denied?
I had gotten a majority decision, and at that time you needed a unanimous decision.
So one vote that said no, why? What reason did he give you?
I wasn't finished with pre-release yet, ma'am. That was one of the prerequisites for a unanimous or for a majority board. I hadn't finished pre-release yet.
That's what he told you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and let me thank you for your service. I did note you're a veteran, Army veteran. Thank you for that. And thank you for the work that you do with the Vets Club there. Since your last hearing, I see that you did complete the pre-release. You also completed a victim impact program. What did you get out of that?
The vast scope of all of the victims, not just Trish, but her family, her children, our children, mothers, fathers, my side of the family, friends. It's just a terrible cycle. It just affected too many people. It's just
So how do you believe it affected your children?
I believe they had to grow up without a loving mother and without a father, which I wasn't too much of one back then, but they deserve way better than that. They had to grow up without a mother, and that's not right at all.
Yeah, we do have, some of your children are opposed, and there is, as Ms. Bertho has said, there is some indication in the record that you have a manipulative nature. Have you had a mental health evaluation since you've been in jail?
The standards every time we get a annual review board, ma'am.
So you've never had a mental health diagnosis?
I don't believe so, ma'am.
Well, you would know. Would you say that your household, when you were living at home with your wife and children, was there other domestic violence instances?
No, ma'am.
There's some indication in the record there may have been.
No, ma'am. Never any violence. Just that night. I never harmed out her. I mean, we argued, we were married, but I drank too much, and that would cause us to argue now and then. But at one point in time, she left for a couple of weeks and went to Kansas with her mother and father. And she had me come up and pick her up and bring her back. We patched that up, but I just wasn't a very good husband.
All right, I'm gonna just sit back and listen to my colleagues. I have no other questions.
I don't have any questions either.
I'm ready to vote.
May I have one statement, please? I wanted to clear up that Andy was charged with second-degree murder. He did go to trial. At trial, he did not contest that he had shot Miss Trish, but presented a defense that basically stated that he did not have the requisite intent to kill Miss Trish, in which the jury found him guilty of the lesser offense of manslaughter, which means that they found that he did not have the requisite intent to kill Miss Trish at the time. I just wanted to clear up the charge in which he was given. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aitken.
May I say something, please?
No, ma'am, we allowed her to on a legal point. Well, go ahead. Let's go ahead and hear from you. Yes, ma'am. Make it very brief, please.
Yes, sir. I'll be very brief. Just to clarify, he does have a history. We did have a notebook that Trish kept of all the abuse. She had pictures of all the abuse. It was brought up in the trial, so this is not new information. He was very abusive. She did leave. He threatened her that if she didn't come back, that he would kill the children and her. So there was a verbal threat before. So there's more, but you said brief, so I just wanted you to hear that. That again, it's all in the books.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Okay. I think we're ready to vote.
Yes, and we do have that information. That's why I asked the question. So, Mr. Swanson, as I said, I'm really pleased to hear the positive work that you're doing there at Allen and working with the vets and those that you can and working well with the administrative staff. There is significant law enforcement opposition and other opposition that's in the record, in addition to the family and the victim. My vote today, based on those oppositions, is to deny your application for parole today.
My vote is to deny due to law enforcement and victim opposition.
Okay, and I concur with them. I think that, victim opposition, law enforcement opposition, and the length of time he served on a 40-year sentence is not sufficient on a even a manslaughter charge. So today your parole has been denied. The time is 10:02. That'll be the end of that. And I think we have one more at Allen. So y'all stay put, please.
Okay, request denied. We have a few minutes left. Let's go back to Judge McNally.
Okay. You're charged with failure to attend your scheduled probation visit on April 17 and again on April 24. You don't have any technical violations now. If you pled guilty, or if you plead guilty, you could get 10 days on this. Do you understand that? I don't want to make you panic. I just have to tell everybody the maximum sentences. That's the most I could give you. I have to tell you that. If you had an expired license, I'd have to tell you you could get 90 days. So I don't want you to lose, to panic here, okay? So do you understand what I said?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now, do you still wish to waive your right to a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
To the charge, you failed to attend your scheduled probation visit on April 17 to 25. How do you plead?
Guilty?
Did you fail to attend your probation visit on that day?
Yes.
Is the count 2 that you failed to attend your probation visit on April 24th? How do you plead?
Guilty?
Did you fail to attend on that day?
Yes.
Anybody forced you to plead guilty?
No.
Okay, I'll accept your plea. I'm gonna get Ms. Tessino over here. I'm gonna go on to another case. And we're gonna call her and I'll be right back with you, okay?
Should I sit down?
Yes, and I'll be right with you, okay?
Okay.
And I want to take that one with you after this little speeding ticket. Is your case ready, sir, the interpreter?
Yes.
Good. Can you tell, which case is that? Is it Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call that next.
Judge, Mr. Mahdi's ready also.
Yeah, I saw him. Maman Jamal Ahmed, 25W378665A and B. Good morning, counsel. How are you?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
Good. Your appearance?
Zach Ahmad, on behalf of Mr. Ahmad.
All right, so you worked with the prosecutor. You're going to plead to 5 over on his behalf. And let's see. They're going to dismiss the no insurance, right?
Correct.
All right. And they're also going to dismiss the failure to yield, right?
Correct.
All right, to that charge of 5 over, responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
I'll accept the plea, dismiss the failure to yield, dismiss the no insurance, fines cost $200, and I'll give him until the 21st to pay that, okay? And that's
Thank
on
you, Your Honor.
file A. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
People against Hernandez. Yormi, Miguel, Hernandez Boulevard, 25W838-353A and B. Do I have a lawyer here on this one? We don't, do we? Okay, your name? How are you? All right, and you are a certified interpreter in what language?
Spanish.
All right, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm under penalties of perjury that you'll make a true and accurate translation between the court and the parties.
I do.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, state your name, please. All right, good morning. You're charged with driving on a suspended. If you want, I will give you a lawyer to represent you. Do you want a lawyer?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am. We'll get your case. I'm gonna ask you to take the child out in the hallway. We'll call you when your case is. You are charged with driving on a suspended. This allegedly occurred on West Road near Allen and Woodhaven, April 14 of 25 at 11:28 in the morning. That is a misdemeanor. It is punishable by up to 500 fines, 93 days jail. Court costs are all those in 2 points. You understand that? Did the interpreter read you, or did you read the advice of rights in Spanish here?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will not be a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You still wish to waive your right to a lawyer? Hang on a second. What's he saying?
I just would like to pay the ticket.
Okay.
My driver license is suspended because I didn't pay a ticket.
Okay, good enough. So I want to make sure of something. Tell him that. I do not know. I do not want to know whether he is, and tell him not to say anything. I want him to hear me out. I want to make sure he understands there could be, if he's not a legalized citizen, that there could be immigration consequences as a result of this plea. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you still wish to proceed without a lawyer? Okay. I am going to enter a not guilty plea. I'm going to give you a $500 personal bond. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. Do you understand all that?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to send you to the prosecutor with the interpreter. You can negotiate this with the city attorney, and then you'll come back in front of me. And by the way, you also have a civil infraction charge of no insurance. Do you understand that? Okay? Any questions? All right, good luck. Shauna Lizette Johnson, 242-643-302. Your name is Sino. Johnson pled guilty to both counts. Ms. Johnson, come on up to the podium again and tell me your name if you would, please.
Shauna Johnson.
All right, you still wish to proceed without a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. How's she doing besides missing these points?
Otherwise, she's doing well. I was gonna talk to her. She needs to put the court on her release for her treatment just so we get her attendance reports. But other than that, things are good.
Why did you miss twice, Shauna?
So when I'm at home, I really zone out, and days go by, I don't realize the amount of time. I talked to my mom, I'm gonna give, Ms. Decino my mom's phone number and email so my mom can,
She can't really talk direct to your mom. I'd really rather that you give the information to your mom, okay?
Okay.
So if she emails you, you can tell your mom, Mom, make sure that I get here, okay?
Okay.
You're doing your mental health treatment?
Yes, I met a really nice psychiatrist.
Good, good. Are you doing better?
Yes.
You seem better. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let this go. Okay? If you're progressing, and it sounds like you are, and she is, right?
I have to get the release, but it sounds like it, yeah, they were limited on what they could tell me.
Sign the release so we can get your records. I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna assess any costs. I'll simply, let's just get you in order where your mom can help you out here, okay? And she can get you to these appointments or remind you to get to these appointments.
Yes.
I'll keep you on probation, no fines, no costs. Sign the release and we'll go from there, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, keep doing what you're doing. You seem a lot better to me.
I feel better.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Smile. Can I see you smile? All
Yeah,
right,
thank
good luck. Thanks. People against Augustinus.
All right, that seems like a good place to end for today with Judge Dad in a fairly good mood, so we'll take it. Hope you all enjoyed the show today. We got to see a couple of things that we haven't seen before, so that's always good. On that parole thing, I'm kind of torn on that myself in the end. I could see a case for him being granted parole and then also a case for him not being granted parole, so I don't know where I would land if I had to vote on it, but luckily that's not my job. I just bring you court. I don't have to be court. So there you go. We've had a lot of new people these last few days with the channel. So if you are here and you are new, I have a couple of requests of you. If you haven't already, please do consider smashing the like button on the way out if I've earned that. In the pinned chat, you will find a couple of links. One is to become a channel member. The other is to sign up for our newsletter. I ask anybody who isn't signed up to please at least consider signing up for the newsletter. It doesn't cost you a dime. Mrs. the Courtroom Files and I have been doing emails through various businesses that we have for 20 years now, and we don't do anything horrible with your information. So it's safe with us. So there you go. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I hope to see you all then. In the meantime, go have yourselves a great Wednesday. Take care.